Hello and welcome to the new news shows, The World of Go Tonight. And with you guys, it's myself to be honest. Hi, my name is Ignacio Iglesias and I will be your host of this World of Go Tonight. This will be a weekly or bi-weekly series talking about the news that have happened in the world in the last 7 or 14 days, it depends, since our last show. I hope that you guys are here for a ride, and I will try to do this like a summary of what happened in the last week. We won't get to the games, we won't see that kind of things here. If that's what you know, please tell me in the commentaries of the video. Now we will start with some professional Go news. First of all, I want to start talking about the rating list. If you guys don't know, there is this webpage, Go Ratings, that tells you like the world ranking. This is because Go doesn't have something like a international Go ranking. Each country has their own national Go ranking. So this is the most fair that it's done. And at this point of time, three of the top five players are from Korea. But something very interesting is not that. Is that if you keep looking at it, you will check that in the top 20, there is no Japanese player, there is a Taiwanese player, and there is also only four Korean players. So this feels pretty unexpected. I have been saying from a long time ago that China has taken the lead in Go, but with someone as powerful as Qin So at the top, almost 200 elo points of difference, it's hard to just say, oh, China is better because the best of everyone is a Korean player. But I think that it's pretty important to know this kind of information before starting to talk about professional tournaments. In professional tournaments, we will do always first the international ones. Afterwards, I will go to talk about Japanese tournaments. This is because Japan has a lot of tournaments each week that you could talk. Afterwards, we will go to Korea and we will finish talking about Chinese Go tournaments. So let's start. First international tournament, this is from a few weeks ago, but it's the Chonla Cup. It, I wanted to talk about this tournament, even if it had happened a little of time. I couldn't talk about this in my last news, that's in Spanish, sorry for that. But what's the important thing, or the most unexpected, is to see the ratio about different countries in this top eight. Okay, so in the top half, we have one player from Korea, Byung Sang-gil, top 5 of the world. Afterwards, Mi Yuting, a multi-champion from China. Gu Zihao, a second Chinese player. Afterwards, we have Park Jung-wan, the number 2 of Korea right now. In the bottom part of the tournament, we have Li Chuanhao, another very, very strong player from China, Chang Kai-wen. I think that he is top 10 in the world. Ding Hao for China, getting this way five Chinese players in the top 8, and completely unexpected, a Chibano Toromaru that got to win 2 games in a row to get to the top 8. I normally say that when a Japanese players get to top 8, it's like a big news for them. They normally are not in the best positions in these tournaments. They tend to be in the losing side of this kind of tournaments. So getting one to the top 8, it's always good news for them. This Tola Cup, it's also very interesting for the player for us in the West because it has international representation. So we have Alexander Key that qualified in a tournament in an online tournament in North America. That it was such a pity for Ryan Lee because he lose at a misclick. It cannot be a misclick. He had to play in the middle three spaces to make two eyes. He played at the top, only got one eye, and he resigned in at the second. This match was almost finishing. They were like last touch of endgame of Justice, so it was such a pity. But well, it's also good to get another players to go to represent your country. So good for Alexander Kui. And from Europe, we had Jan Simara. I'm not sure, but I believe that this is his first like professional tournament in Asia. So pretty neat for him. Okay, next tournament will be the Agon Cup. This is a Japan China tournament only. The winners of the Agon Cup in each country will play against each one, and it's only one game. I think that these kind of tournaments for me are pretty weird, to be honest. It's like you just win a tournament locally and get to play a final, but they do it for one game. uh, I will love this kind of tournament. It was best of three or best of five. I really believe it has to be with sponsoring money more than another things, but pretty neat to see this game. If you go to think which is the last time that Japan had won, well, I think that it was in the 22 on the 21st, with Chou beating Fanting Yu. It was unexpected at that time. Chou Yu was a very strong player like 10 or 15 years ago. So seeing him to get this kind of tournament and an international win afterwards, I think that is pretty good. Well, this is 5 years ago now, because after COVID, obviously some tournaments weren't being played. Okay, the next professional tournament it's already in Japan. In the Meijing League, we could see that Yamayuta it's already out in the race. He will need a miracle to be the finalist, but after losing against Ichiriki Ryo and Yushenki, that almost sounds like completely impossible. It's even more, he's a little in danger of getting out of this league. I won't expect that to happen, but well, everything can happen in the board. Yushenki and Ichiriki Ryo are the both of them without losses, so pretty need to be 5-0 or 4-0. Remember that in this kind of leagues, if I'm sure about Beijing, your league rank is what will define who will go to the to fight for the title. Sometimes in this kind of Japanese tournament, it doesn't matter if you beat each other. It doesn't matter like the deciding factor is not the match between each other. If you get the same result, normally the top ranked player in the league is the one that goes to the next final. So that's pretty important. Well, Yushenki and Ichiriki Ryo haven't played each other, so maybe that's the game that we will have to check. The next Japanese tournament is the 62nd Judan. This was being played the final this week. You have seen Shibano Toromaru win both times with white and also Iyamayuta doing the same. We already talked about a good result from Chibano in the international title, but in this month he will have to finish his title defense. A few years ago, I will say that Iyamayuta was the obvious expected winner, but right now I'm not so sure about that. If you check the head-to-head record, Chibano Toromaru has been getting each year nearer from Iyamayuta now at 22 and 25. So we could see a change in the tide in their head-to-head record. Afterwards, we have the Honimbo. I will normally don't talk about all the tournaments that are being played. This is because in Japan you have like 10 tournaments being played in the same week. Maybe one game here, one game there. some like preliminaries for the main tournament. So I will mainly only talk about tournaments that are getting to top 8 or, or more important games, or we will talk about tournaments that are being played like something unexpected happened. This tournament, we are in top 8. To be honest, I think that nothing unexpected happened. Yamayuta, Yushenki, and Romaru, all the ones that were the favorite in their expected four matches, went to the final, semi-finals, sorry. And in the last leg of this tournament, we had Seto Taiki and Hirata Tomoya. Both of them have a very like um, similar levels, so we will have to accept any one of them that won. So I will expect Shibano Toromaru this week to get to the big final to decide the challenger. Remember that this happens a lot in Japanese tournaments. All this wall, like round robin tournament or cup tournament, will get the challenger to get to a 5 or 7 match against the current reign of the title, current holder of the title, sorry. This is a tournament that is a little new, is a Take a Cup. This is the Chune version. This means that there are like um, strong young players that they are the ones that can play this tournament. So during the last year, I think that in December were all the games, we got to get a winner of each group. Okay, here Nakamura Sumire did pretty well, to be honest. In the first group, we had Chiyono Toromaru without completely expected. She was the winner 5-0 of his group. In the other group, we had a tie between Seki Kotaro and Hirose Yuichi. But just like I told you guys before, we have this kind of rule in Japan, and because the rank of Seki was higher, he went to the big final against Chibano Toromaru. That this week he took the first game. In one more month, we will know if Chibano takes the cup for himself and gets to be the next Take a Cup champion, or if Seki Kotaro could take this from him. After this, we will go to Korea. Our first Korean tournament, we'll talk about the Supreme Player. Okay, the Supreme Player is a little new tournament, but I really like it because, to be honest, I like this kind of tournaments that are a league similar to Japanese ones. Okay, I really like. I think that you could check a lot of games between top players, and it makes way more interesting. It's a way more interesting system than just losing one game and getting out of the tournament. I'm not sure it's the fairest, but I really like it. So here Park Jung-man is the only one with 3 victories because the other player that has no lose is An Sun-young. We have to remember that this is the first tournament with Nakamura Sumire playing in Korea. I did a video a few days ago about Nakamura Sumire leaving Japan to play for Korea. I will leave that video in the description. So was her first tournament. The good news is that she could get one victory. To be honest, that's good, taking into account that this is the Supreme Player. We have top players from Korea, Park Jung-wan and Byung Sang-gil, top 5 in the world, so it's not unexpected. But you also have some like prodigies or promising players like Im Sang-ju that it's way more easier for Nakamura to take a win. So she took one victory in this tournament. Nakamura Sumire is playing this tournament because she got an invitation from the sponsor of the Supreme Player. 4 of these players are top 4 of the last year. The other 4 are playing in a preliminary tournament, and the last one is an direct invitation from the sponsors. Okay, so we have a lot more to wait for this, but Park Jung-wan, I know, is completely expected, but Park is the favorite to take this tournament. when you win this league, you have the opportunity to lose against Changing So. Sorry, Changing So. It's the winner of this tournament. I think in all the years that it had been played. So I think that for nobody this isn't expected. But well, we are in the Changing So era right now. After this, we have the Maxim Cup. Maxim Cup is one of the big tournaments in Korea, and we had a Kim Jong Un winning the top spot. Kim Jong Un is a top 10 player in Korea, and he beat Byung Sang-gil. I have been waiting for Byung Sang-gil to get a big win in Korea because he had the bad luck of living in the same era of Park Jong-wan and Shin Jin-so, and he had been top 5 of the world like for the last 2 years and cannot get a fucking trophy. He cannot get a trophy, and it feels a little unfair. Like I'm this good, but not good enough to get my trophy. But well, Kim Jong Un beat him here, and Shin Jin-so unexpectedly get another final. This month we will play at the best of three, so I think that this night or tomorrow, no, tonight we'll have the first round of this. After this, we have the Livon Cup. This is a tournament way smaller in Korea. We had, but it had this interesting setting that you play more than one game. We had two female players here, Kim Eun-ji and Nakamura Sumire. Each one lose their first round match, but unexpectedly, I think that Kim Eun-ji was one of the favorites for this tournament. So at least she took one game, but Nakamura Sumire only lost two games in a row. And now we will talk a little of Chinese tournaments. The first one, it was played like the top 8 till the victory in this last week, and we have the Ki Wang tournament. In this one, Sheke got the final in the top half. Li Chen get the title in this tournament. Sorry, Chinese names tends to be harder for me to say fast. It was completely unexpected that top players of the country were getting out, but to be honest, I will always say that even if Jin So it's number one, Anki Yes number one in China, every player in China could be the number two. They have, like we see at the start, 15 of top 20 players are Chinese, so their level are pretty high. So even when you get a Liu Qingcheng, a player that it's not as well known as Mi Yuting, Yan Ningxin, uh, Tuo Yashi, I think that it's very strong, but I'm not sure if he's better than Li Qingcheng or most well known. It's okay for him to win. I think that he was top 10 player in the world. After all, we have a smaller tournament at the first Sichuan Energy Cup. They had 8 players play, and I really like to see all names like Guli playing this tournament. To be honest, Guli, I really like it. Like Guli games a few years ago, more than a few, but let's say a few. And in this tournament, Chirohao got his title. And finally, the Children Wang Cup. I had to check because I didn't remember the age limit for this tournament. This was a tournament for players younger than some age. I didn't remember it was 25, 30. Checking in Sensei Library, I feel that right now is Chinese players younger than 20. Okay, that's the rule. Mm. In this year, we had one Chuchuan in the top half, getting to the final, and the bottom side we have Chou Si. To be honest, most Chinese players under 20 years are not as well known as other players. If you check the top players of China, most of them are a little older than 20. So these names, nobody of them are 9 dan, 6 dan. Like something happens in our country. For example, um, Kim Ji is already a 9 dan pro. Okay, so this will be our professional Go news. Like now we will start talking about some things that have happened in the West. The first news that I want to talk is about the NAGO Fed. The NAG Pro qualification tournament was announced last March. For to be able to play this tournament, you have to be in Canada from 16th of June to 21, and you will also have to play a tournament. Okay, last year we had an obviously better player than the rest. That was Michael Chang. That everybody knew that he was going to win. It was completely unexpected. I think that in the AGA rating system, he was 3 levels stronger than all the other players. So there was no unexpected there. He just got the title very easily. Now Nagofed will get a new professional player. So I hope that there is a really big interest in this tournament. Last year we had players from Mexico participate. I really hope that they will try again. If some of you guys don't know, I'm from Chile. I really follow Latin American Go. So I would love to get some of them in the tournament, even if they don't, even if they don't, aren't able to get the pro license. Okay, I don't think they are the favorites, but it will be pretty neat. Okay, we will go and this news should be later because afterwards I will talk about U.S. news. I will talk a little about Europe leagues, Europe news. The things big new I think this that last month at the end of March they played the European Pro Championship. I was a little surprised because only 6 players played in this event, and I won't say that it's unexpected, but Mateus Turma keep showing us that he's in top form. For me, it will always be unexpected what Mateus does because he a lot of time don't play these tournaments. I think that he mostly plays tournaments with a big money prize, but he keeps showing us that his level is pretty high when we talk about West Go. Okay, Mateus Surma is probably right now the top player in Europe if you don't take in consideration Ilya that is not able to play because of political matters. Okay, Mateus Surma in each tournament that he plays, he shows that he is the only third dan pro of the Europe system because of reason. It's not for free. Okay, and this was another chance for him to show us, and he got a very good prize money. I don't remember if it was 200 here. It's 2,500 euros. Okay, so my I don't know. I don't know if he cares, but my congratulations for him. There was another news this week that I found pretty interesting in Europe. I'll be pretty honest, for me to find Europe tournament news is way harder because I don't read all the languages that they are spoken in Europe and they have too many webs to know about this. Not like in the AGA that you if you check 2 or 3 links you could get most of the news of the country. But in Europe, because there are a lot of associations, it's harder to know interesting things that are happening. We have a free workshop for more than 500 participants in Poland. I really think that sometimes we just need this kind of things to get the word to more people. Okay, part of our work in is try to make our game as long lived as possible. With technology, I always think that we are getting nearer the point that newer generations could be living the game. So, doing everything that you can to get this game to the more mainstream media, it's always a pleasure to see. I will talk about only two. Oh, I think that I made a mistake and I destroyed one of the tournaments. Okay, I had two tournaments. I wanted to talk about the Dresdner Go tournament. This is a tournament in Germany of Class A in Germany, in Europe. And I found unexpectedly this that in the in the top group you get to see all the top players losing each other. And this made that Albert Pittner couldn't get the victory even if he was the best player or the expected player to win. Because each one of them lose a game against other players of the same tier. This was just decided by us. And if you check this, it's almost, I don't know how to call it, it's almost funny because the top two players had the same everything, but the Sosos was the thing that made the separation about victories. So, congratulations to the winner of this tournament. I think that it was Chilon Chang. And we will talk also about the PandaNet. The European PandaNet League A played the seventh round. To understand, this is well, I think that in all the West we play this tournament. I really like the European one because you play at four boards. I really like to have the capacity of draw a game. Like being able to get a draw against another country, I think that makes it more interesting. And also, it enables more players to play. Here in Latin America and in the AGA, we make a three players teams, and that means that every round you get one team that wins. I don't think this is necessary in a league setting, so I really like this. Okay, um, we will talk about League A. I think that we had a game last week. No, no, no. Here. Okay, the last round of the League A. It was played the Ukraine against Netherlands, Israel, Hungary, Czechia, Sweden, France, Germany, and Romania, Poland. I will say that the France against Germany was completely unexpected. Okay, I really thought that France will win. Tanguy made clear that he's a pro player for some reason, getting the first victory for France, but the rest of the team couldn't do the same. Okay, Thomas de Bach and Remy Company lost the second and third boards. I really hope that France could get to be one of the top four teams because we had the European Golf Congress in their country. It will be a pretty big bad news for them if they couldn't qualify to their own home country final. It could be a pretty interesting history, to be honest, also. Okay, we had all. I think that it was the only unexpected. This was, I think, France's favorite match. The other ones, Israel against Hungary. I think that the only unexpected thing here was the lose of Ali Jabarin against Paul Bali. Paul Bali, I think that it's pretty strong. I met him, I think, 2018 in the KPMC. So, but I think that Ali should have taken that game, but 21 and a half is a pretty big win, to be honest. Okay, here you could check all the leagues. We'll be talking about this later because tomorrow I will be doing a League C stream in Spanish to check the match between Spain and Slovakia that they are going to play tomorrow. I hope that I can do it without issue, but let's see. Now we'll go and talk about American news. I think that this is getting longer than I thought and maybe I should make this way shorter. So please give me your feedback about this. Okay, first news. You can uh, come back and get the weekly Go problems from the American Go Honor Society. You just got to go to this link and take the registration form. After that, we have um, the results of the nation's top young Go talents in the AGHC, American Go Honor Society School Team Tournament. Okay, so we have the winners. The Chogo School Team 1 won the Division 1, and the Mason Huaxia Chinese School won the Division 2. New York Go Institute was in both divisions, the second place, and in Division 1, Semiamu Secondary finished third, and Tech Time Go School finished in the third place in the second division. To be honest, I really like to get this kind of opportunities for new players. So pretty neat to get the final of this team tournament. I really like team tournaments, to be honest. I really like it. I think that it's the most interesting system. I think that it's something that Hikaru Nogo made of me to really like that top tier action of three boards playing against each other. The other news is that we will have the American Go Honor Society Girls Who Play Go tournament. Okay, you have until the 19th of April to get to register to this tournament, and you could check in the news article every information. The next news is about the US Go Congress. Okay, we'll have 18 pros coming to the US Go Congress, and because of that news, the early bird deadline got extended to get more people to pay this early bird rate that it's cheaper. They will have a lot of um, like unexpected professional. I remember that they will have Kim Ji Seok. Yeah, Kim Ji Seok. I think that it was one of the biggest. A lot of them obviously are American pros like Royal Lee or Min Kim that is living there from a lot of years ago. But also Matthew Surman will go. Okay, you can check all the information. Hope that you are able to go to this event. They also get the price cheaper. I think that they were a little expensive last year, so this will make it easier for people to go and play. Hope that some of you guys could go and enjoy them. Okay. Oh, I put the two things together. In other news, there was a tournament for players over 65. I really like this kind of um, events. We normally only make like open events or events or young events, but we think of having different kind of events, like team events, like events to older players, because it's always interesting to see different kind of players to enjoy together. The reason because female or child spaces are necessary is because for them it's easier and more comfortable to play in that kind of setting. I also think to really old people will like to get a chance to play with people of their generation. It's a space that they could have a good time. So congratulations to David Barron for win that California tournament. Well, even just like in Europe and in Latin America, in America they also have their league, the Aga City League. I don't understand why in the main page this table is broken, but we have the Toronto team winning these games 3-0. This is what I don't like as much is that because you don't have a fourth player, just like in Latin America, you only get victories or losses. Man, I really like to have more possibilities there. I wanted to talk a lot about this because I think it's pretty interesting, but the web is not very comfortable for me because we don't have the scores posted from the last round of 10th of March. Okay, some are supposedly to be played like weeks ago. I don't know why these two games weren't played. So it's confusing. If you check, they should have already played also the fourth round, the round five, sorry. But I'm not sure if nobody is in charge of the page. Maybe this is another link, and if you know where I can check this for next news, I will be pretty glad to have that information. And that are all the news about North America. I will do a little about Latin America. Why? Because I'm a Latin American player, and this is my cup of, cup of tea. First, we played the PandaNet Round League yesterday. It was pretty interesting because the two top countries in our league get to play each other last round. The match between Mexico and Brazil was top tier, to be honest. Okay, I really liked it. Emil Garcia in the second board made a pretty neat Tetsuji that killed a big group of Hiroaki Okogawa. I didn't expect it when he was playing. I thought that Hiroaki had taken a better position. We did a Spanish stream of this yesterday, but when Emil played the Tetsuji, it was like, oh, that move works. This changed everything. And he got a very big win. But in game between Abraham Florencia and Alexandre Amaro, Alexandre played a really neat goal. Okay, I think that there was no minute in the game that I thought Abraham is winning. A mistake in the middle game was impossible to get over, and was a very big and clear victory for Alexandre against one of the top players of the region. In the third board, it was also the third top player in Mexico against the tier one in this Brazil. Elcio played a game that was pretty clear. The other two, I will be honest, it was like, oh, this is super hard, who is winning? In Elcio's case, it felt weird because at some point it was like, I'm not sure how, what's the plan of Sebastian to get a better position in this game. And Elcio got this victory for Brazil, being the only two teams that were like without losses this year. It was a pretty important game to get to the big final this year in the Latin American Go Congress. Apart from that news, this yesterday also we played an internet Go tournament here in Chile. It was open for players of other countries, so we have a Brazilian player, an Argentinian. I remember Ecuadoriano, Ecuador, Ecuadorian player Miguel, and a Cuban one playing the tournament. Panama and Venezuela also represented in this one. The tournament was crazy because Abelio is our best player by a lot, and in three of his four games, he could have lost. In the last one, he made a mistake and died in a tombstone. I'll be pretty honest with you guys. I have never seen someone at that level using the tombstone Tetsuji in a game. I was like, oh man, this doesn't only happen in books. That's the kind of problem that you only see in Go Pro collections. Okay, you only see that in Go problems. To see it in a game, I was like, oh come on, this cannot be real. In the same game, they had a Thousand Year Co in a corner, and I was like, oh, maybe Christian will lose because I'm pretty sure that he had never played a Thousand Year Co, and he doesn't understand that it's a Co and not Aseki. So he lost because of that. It was a pity. The game was crazy. The game of the round before that was also crazy because a player give a big ton of stones, a big group of stones, but got a lot of territory in other parts. And even if it felt like he was doing poorly, he was winning on points. And AI said that he was winning the world tournament that was Francisco. Well, it was crazy. 10 hours of tournament stream, but it was crazy fun. Well, guys, to be honest, this will be the news of today. I hope that you like this kind of content because I will be doing news. I'm not sure if this is the format that will be used all the weeks. This has been my format of doing news for the last 2 or 3 years. When I do when I do them in like online. Sorry, I do it in a stream, live stream. I normally do this way. I think that it might be pretty long for a video, so I would love if you give me some kind of feedback about that. Thanks to everyone, and see you at the other side of the world. Bye bye.